Alrighty, welcome to the 13th floor. I'm Marty Duda, and today we have with us a couple of folks from the Loving Arms. We have
Mark Beesley
and
Catherine Townsend.
Welcome, welcome. You've got a new record coming out any day now. It's called Dream Over You, and like everything else that's been happening in the music business, it's been a long time coming, right? So tell me your sad story about why it's taken so long to get this record out.
The pandemic kind of slowed everything down.
Right.
And we, like most bands, really eager to get into the studio. We had a bunch of songs. We were excited. We started doing demos. Up to 2 years later, we're still not done, basically.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to do any remote recording. We really just needed to stay where we could see each other in the studio. We just like the vibe of being in the studio together with our producer, Kerry Furlong.
Right.
So you can argue face to face.
Right, that's always better. So this band, it kind of emerged out of Ghost Town, right?
Yes, partly, yeah. We'd put out an album, me and Jed Town and Brian Shaw, and the live version of that band is essentially the Loving Arms.
Right.
I heard Catherine singing with her band, the Sugar Hits, at the Piha Bowling Club.
Okay.
And Ghost Town and the Sugar Hits were playing at the same time, and I just thought I wanted to sing with that voice. So one thing led to another, and we found we had a batch of songs that weren't quite Ghost Town songs that would work with they were kind of about men and women.
Yep.
And so we've found ourselves cooking up a band where, there's this really strong male-female dynamic.
Gotcha. Now, Catherine, you being the female in the male-female dynamic, how did you approach that? Was it hard to get kind of into the boys' club, or was it an easy fit?
I've played with Dominic Blaser and Stevie Shaw before in this band as well. So I was really familiar with them, and it was incredibly easy actually. It was beautiful songs, absolutely lovely lyrics and beautiful melodies, and so it was just, I think we all feel that it's a privilege actually to be able to be in this band and to play those songs together, and we all work really well together. There's really no dramas, which is lovely.
and quite rare.
Yeah.
But I think also the music, it's about, a lot of the music is about forgiveness and reconciliation, about people who've been in relationships for a while. They're struggling with themselves, they're struggling with each other, and what do you do after the storm, after everything goes wrong? So it is, I liken it to music for adults after the storm, and country music is great for that. Songs for adults. It's not just about getting laid. Although there's plenty of sex in the stories on the album, but I think that I don't know. There's an emotional truth at the heart of the music that we make collectively. It's something to do with the harmonies, partly to do with the songs and the subject matter, but it's very warm, forgiving, welcoming. Hence the Loving Arms. And I think all of us in the band have responded to that, and because we've rocked out, we've danced our asses off, we've done all that. This is something a little bit different.
You wrote all the songs, right?
Yeah.
So with you writing all the songs, did you have to present them to the band for approval, or do you say, here you go, let's do this one? How does the process work?
It's a bit of both. I mean, I might send people a demo. I cull my demo so they don't hear everything, because sometimes as a songwriter you find you've come up with a song but it's for a different band. Or it doesn't sit there. So and then others are like, oh, they'll love this. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But really you don't really know until you get that song home and take its clothes off and make love to it, whether it's a keeper.
Yep. Okay.
So you got to share it.
Gotcha.
And I noticed you shared, Catherine sings one called Still Need Your Love. So how did that process come about? Did you sing it?
It was pretty much as Mark was saying. He did the demo. He suggested that I sing it, and things just develop organically. I think that's the thing. Even though Mark's writing the songs, he's very open to how everybody in the band interprets it, and the little bits of magic that they all add. So it's quite an open process like that. There's not a lot of no, don't do that, or I want you to do it like this. It's everybody contributes and puts it together. And that particular song, I didn't really even know how I was going to sing it until I got into the studio. Hadn't really decided.
What was the vibe like? When you're recording your vocal, are you kind of there by yourself? Are you getting directed?
No, so I did have a little conversation with Mark before I went in. I said, "Oh, do you think I should do this?" And he was just like, "Just do it how you want to do it." So I just decided to do it from the heart, really. And in the studio has a little stained glass window, and it was sort of, the sun was going down, I think, and Dom got in there and turned off all the lights and got it all really nice and atmospheric, and just sort of went from there, really. And wasn't a lot of takes, I don't think, for that one. Yeah.
Well,
so
it's a beautiful performance, and live we share the lead vocals a little bit more. I think Catherine's probably doing about I don't know, 25%. But I'm hoping to get that balance up.
Gotcha.
So you've got a show coming up over the weekend, right?
On Sunday. At Big Fan. Yeah.
Right. So
What's going to happen there?
What is going to happen there? We're going to launch our album.
Yeah.
And
it's coming out on vinyl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have a vinyl version of that. It drops on the platforms on Friday.
Right.
It will be, I think, quite a moving show, both physically and emotionally. We're not a fast band,
right?
But we do know how to move, and I feel that. I listened to the album for the first time in a while the other night, and the rhythm section and the percussion and Steve's bass just made me feel, okay, I can move to this in a Mazzy Star kind of a way.
Mazzy Star has been coming up quite often in discussion lately. I feel like they've become some kind of touchstone for a lot of people of a certain age who were doing their thing in the early 90s.
Now they're kind of going there.
I've got an 18-year-old daughter who said, "Dad, have you got any Mazzy Star LPs?" I said, "Well, I'm glad you asked me." There's something timeless about that, the psychedelia and the acoustic guitar and her style of singing that transcends generations, I think. I would like to think that the music that we're making is also can transcend genres. And because we're not a strict Americana band trying to sound like a country band, we're a New Zealand band who've had influences from America and country and soul, but also New Zealand influences as well as a songwriter, and then the influences of our own lives. And I think that all goes into the music, I would hope.
Now you're involved in the television and movie industry as well, and I see that there's a few music videos made already. Do you get involved in that, or do you give it to somebody else?
Brian, our drummer, Brian Shaw, is a terrific editor, an award-winning editor. He's just edited the latest Evil Dead movie.
Oh, great.
So he's no slouch.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We discussed some ideas for our songs and looked at a bit of footage here and there and basically left him to it. I mean, he knows the songs.
I like If This Is How It Ends. Tell me about the song.
Tell me about the song.
The song, If This Is How It Ends, sounds more downbeat than it is, or does it? I think it's quite a sad song, but we try to lift it up in the way that we present it. And it is about realizing this might be the end of a relationship, or it might be the end of a life. Let's hope it's not. Why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? But if it is, let's not go to war. So, and I think, you know, there's many relationships towards the end of them, there's that period of, well, is this it? Maybe it's not. Let's go to the beach. So there's a lot of...
So Kiwi.
There's a lot of... Yeah.
Let's go to the beach.
And, you know, I've been in situations where, you know, you walk into a room and pull the curtains back, you need some fresh air, you're stuck in a moment.
Yep.
Let's walk away from this problem and go for a drive.
Yep.
Maybe that will solve things. So it asks this question: if this is how it ends, well, maybe we can just kiss and say goodbye.
That's another
So
song.
we found a footage from a film, Born to Win, with George Siegel and Karen Black, which is kind of a 1971 kind of gritty gangster type film in the mould of French Connection.
Yeah.
But Brian's pulled out all the romance subplot and pieced that together to the song, and it's quite an effective video. And Karen Black is just
That's my favorite era of film, but I haven't seen that one.
yeah, it's not easily found. And George Siegel, you know, he's quite charismatic. So we have a couple of, you know, a leading man and a leading lady in our video, struggling in the same way that the protagonists in the song are struggling. But Brian's done beautiful work, and he's done that on a few of our videos.
Right. So the album, the songs were written a while ago. You've got the show coming up. The album is finally coming out. Are you thinking? You must be thinking about what you're going to do next by this point.
Yeah, we've demoed quite a few. We've got another album. So we just put a pause on that, on recording, because otherwise we'd end up with a glut. And also the album, funnily enough, we did go back in and add a song, because we dropped one. We went, well, so there is some newer material, if you like, on it. We've started doing some more recording, and we'd love to just follow this up with something 10% faster.
Yeah, 10% faster.
Maybe 20% faster. How fast do you want to go, Kat?
20% is quite a lot.
I think with that particular album, you know, we always wanted to make an album, 37 to 40 minutes worth. We grew up on albums. They still have meaning to us, and I think they have a lot of meaning to an audience out there who loves music. It's not just a nostalgia thing. It's just how music came into your life, and the dropping the needle on a vinyl, there's still nothing quite like it. Most people will hear the music for the first time probably digitally. Nothing wrong with that. That's all good. But there is still something about the artwork. We've got a beautiful cover by Ruben Patterson. Worth buying it just for that, if you ask me. But the idea of the album being one of those slow albums you put on a Sunday morning, whether it's 3 o'clock on a Sunday morning or 10 o'clock on a Sunday morning, where you're cracking the raw eggs of the Mr. Sauce. So it's a little bit slower than our live set. But I think as a listening experience, we sort of warmed to that. We kind of went there.
Cool. Now, speaking of albums, when I moved to New Zealand, just after I got here, this came out, this Teen Savage record, and I was blown away. Because it's like, who are these guys? Why haven't I never heard of these people? What's going on here? So, it still holds up 28 years later, or whatever it was, 25 years later. How does it feel to you when you hear this?
That feels like a horny young man who's making a lot of mistakes, saying he's sorry but not really sorry, and really wants to get laid, but has got a lot of love to share. And I think the writing I could still play most of those songs without feeling that I can't deliver them in an authentic way.
Right.
But yes, those are young men, too much alcohol, too much drugs, not giving a shit what anyone thinks about the music they're making.
Right.
Yeah, some kind of rock and roll lounge music.
Has it ever been on vinyl?
Well, no, but
well, there's something to do.
I'm quite keen. We have a record label, Ghost Records, so we'd like to have the Loving Arms and Ghost Town and Dean Savage as sell our vinyl via that,
sounds like a
if we
plan.
can get that.
Yeah, now you just got to get them dried out.
Got to get it dried out, like the rest of Auckland.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I've tortured you long enough. Thank you very much for coming up here and talking to me about this stuff. Enjoying the record. I'm going to come down on Sunday and see the show. Hopefully everybody else will as well. And I can't wait to see the vinyl and hear what that sounds like and see what happens next. So thanks a lot.
Kira,
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Marty.